Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to GT7 update 1.38. In this video I'll be rounding up my final thoughts on update 1.38 before taking a bit of a break on GT7, probably up until the next update actually drops. So I'm going to cover everything that came with this update, from the cars to the events to any kind of minuscule addition that actually came with this update, and give you my final verdict and thoughts on each and every single thing, as well as do a little bit of an outro that'll kind of round up my thoughts on things like the servers and the overall state of the game. So we're going to start off with the biggest thing of the updates, the cars themselves. Now 3 cars came along with this update. We had the Garage RCR Civic, which finally reintroduces the EG Civic in some shape or form to Gran Turismo, as well as the latest Type R Civic, that being the FL5, and the Mazda 3 Group 3. Now I'd definitely say these are the highlights of the update. It was very much a Japanese FF layout themed update in terms of the vehicles, and to be honest, I massively enjoyed each and every single one of them. It's a relatively inexpensive update in terms of getting the cars. You've got cars like the FL5, like you can see here, that retail at 50,000 credits and are just probably the best at what they do, especially in terms of their overall feeling. Then you've got something crazy like the whole stripped out time attack styled EG Civic in the form of the RCR Garage Civic, as well as the Mazda 3 Group 4, which was a surprisingly good Group 4 car, and I massively enjoyed all of my time with each and every single one of these latest additions to GT7. Now a lot of people go on to criticize and say, look, where's Koenigsegg, where's this, where's that, and to be honest, car beggars, I'm just sick of hearing it, to be honest, at this point. See, in terms of GT7 and their car models, they are ridiculously well designed. There is no denying that. They are absolutely stunning in terms of their details and kind of what goes into making each of these cars. And well, I cannot really say anything other than that. You know, if you are a car lover, then every single small detail of these cars is up to scratch, and it's the best way to actually experience these cars within any racing game, hands down. On top of that, we also got the likes of the GR Corolla coming to Brand Central, as well as the Toyota Hi-Medic, which now finally got put into the game for everyone to get, as well as the Hi-Medic also being free of charge, meaning you can absolutely spam as many of these into your garage as you wish. And yeah, it's pretty cool that they did do that for free. As well as that, we also got 3 new Mazda Spirit Racing liveries in the form of these whiteout liveries for both the Mazda NRA, the Atenza Group 4, and the RX Vision GT3 concept. Now these are some very, very stunning liveries, there is no denying that. So in terms of my overall opinion on everything to do with the cars in this update, well, I'm quite pleasantly surprised and really pleased with these. For me, it's an 8 out of 10, no questions asked. Polyphony continues their trend of insanely well modeled cars, and to be honest, I've never seen a racing game that makes them as good as Polyphony does. Now, to me, this is the biggest downside currently of GT7. For me, it's not the cars. I think there's plenty of cars. I think the detail that goes into cars is absolutely incredible. It's certainly the events themselves. Even tracks, I would say there is a massive track count in this game in comparison to a lot of other racing games. There's no denying that. But the main thing these tracks actually need are events to make them seem a lot more worthwhile. There's tracks that people probably forget about. We had 2 Race of Turbo sports cars. Now these are the typical 5-lap sprints with no tyre wear, all focused around obviously road-going turbo sports cars. For me, the upside of these events is that the AI cars are absolutely awesome to see. They're all kitted out, turbocharged little track-going beasts. As well as that, we also had a new Group 4 event in the form of the WTC 700 that takes place at Bathurst, and to be honest, this is a great event. No, it doesn't pay out as much as you may want it to, but in terms of actually getting an event at Bathurst and actually making a fun event at Bathurst, well, I feel like they did a decent job. However, there is no denying that free events just doesn't feel good enough, and it's definitely something that Polyphony need to turn their focus to. That is almost everyone's main criticism of the game, is get the events in there. On top of that, we got 2 new extra menus for Porsche Supercars and the GR brand for Toyota, so the racing division. Now again, these aren't really content I class them as, it's just more part of a car collection. The rewards were decent, both engine swaps. I believe I got a 787B and I think maybe the Suzuki Escudo something like that. Overall, again, they just feel like a bit of an afterthought. So the events for me, 5 out of 10. They would have been even lower if it wasn't for Bathurst actually coming into the game. Again, this is where Polyphony really need to turn their focus in the future in bulking up the content. Next up, we have the engine swaps. Now, 5 of these came to the update, once again continuing the sort of theme that we seem to be going through. So we've had the likes of Nissan, Honda, Bike Sports, all that kind of stuff. And this time it is the return of the Stuttgart brand Porsche. Now, there was a new engine swap in this update, the 959 engine swap, as well as all 5 of them going in different models of Porsche. So overall, they were fairly good. Now, to be honest, there's definitely no denying that probably one of the, I guess, most insane engine swaps actually came with this update, which was the GAC Maverick going in the Cayman, which you can see here, and I absolutely love this engine swap. If you are a fan of Porsches and you're a fan of engine swaps, well, then there's no denying this is certainly a good plus side. So for me, this was a great addition. It was great to see Porsche get a bit of focus and be able to do yet more crazy engine swaps with the Stuttgart brand. So overall, engine swap 8 out of 10. There's no denying they were good, they were fun, and that GAC Maverick in the back of the Cayman is just absolutely ridiculous. It's more of the silly side of Gran Turismo and Polyphony I absolutely love to see. Now, this is going to be a bit of a running joke, the escape simulation joke that I keep bringing up, to be honest. Yeah, 0 out of 10 for this. I couldn't even find them. There was the advertisement that this was a key part of the update, 29 escapes, and I kind of had a look and none of them got brought up as being new or anything like that. There was no sort of curated list of them. So, yeah, I mean, 0 out of 10, I just couldn't find them. Yeah, it is what it is. Then we're going to move on to some of the more quirky additions, things like the weather radar. This is a pre-race weather radar. You can see from 60 minutes previous up to the current time. You can see what the weather's been doing. Now, again, I don't know how useful this is going to be to certain people. So again, your usage of this may sort of vary, but I can see it being a pretty neat feature, and I actually like the way it works. And that's really it for update 1.38. Whilst it wasn't really rich on content, I must say that things like the cars and the engine swaps have been an absolute blast. There's no denying that. I've been able to sort of talk with the guys at RCR Garage Civic, Jesse mainly, to sort of get more information on the car and be able to cover stuff like that. So for me, it's a great update. And as a Honda owner, seeing the EG in the game in some shape or form, and obviously the latest generation of Type R Civic, it's just, yeah, absolutely right up my alleyway. And even the Mazda 3 was a very nice surprise, to be quite honest. In terms of the engine swaps, they were fantastic. The GAC Maverick is just an absolute blast. But like I said, in terms of Polyphony's focus, yes, you have the most detailed cars in any racing game. There is no denying that. Just the small little details they put into them. And yes, I think there's plenty enough cars. You know, I respect that all of the cars are very, very well made up to such a ridiculous high standard. And whilst these cars might not be for absolutely everyone, there's no denying that Polyphony is the best in the business when it comes to creating these car models. But certainly they need to turn their sort of focus to events. They need to bulk up this game. Like I said, when I kind of took a look back at GT Sport and compared it to GT7, there's double events in sort of the similar time frame to these two games, and it just feels like it's a bit of an afterthought for them. And I certainly think if they put that focus into events, they could certainly claw back a lot of their reputation. To quickly touch on the servers, yes, they are pretty up and down at the minute. So if you're a sport mode player, it may be a bit of a risk, considering the lobbies are basically getting people to drop their DR and SR rating by a margin. So I'd really kind of just watch your back if you go into sport mode. There is a high chance the servers could crash. So that is a glaring issue at the minute. But overall, in terms of the actual content, it was okay. Hopefully Polyphony do turn their focus to the events in the future. I'll see you later on, guys. Take care. Peace.